Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, it's a little bit different than what you would expect from me. I decided to do something a little bit different today, and it came out quite strange. So, I decided to go down to a local store, pick up a couple of sticks of these popsicle sticks that you would find on ice cream or in popsicle. I don't know where else you would find these things. And this is my first time ever working with anything like this, so I had no idea what I was really trying to do. Right now I'm trying to cut the end pieces of these sticks off with razors. So that was pretty dumb, so I ended up moving on to the pliers and just clipping them off because, the pliers have got that little sharp edge underneath. But I decided to try and make a house because I got really bored. And when I get bored, I don't really have anything else to do because sometimes I don't want to sit on my ass all day and be on the computer. Sometimes I want to just get up and do something, and I started looking at videos and I see all these cool things that people are doing with popsicle sticks and stuff, and they have quite a bit more talent than I do, clearly, because if you're seeing how I'm doing this, I'm not using any measuring. I'm pretty much using primitive ways here. It's very... I ended up cutting them wrong at the first part. I noticed after the first few that I was cutting them wrong, and ended up fixing that then. So, I don't know what it was. Somebody was just knocking at my door. I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, so I'm just going to explain what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make a floor. So you can see that at the start, I bought maybe 1,000 of these larger sticks, and I thought that I'd be using a whole lot more, but they're pretty big. And I mean, looking at the final, or not the final product, but one part of the final yeah, I'm gonna turn this into a series. Oh, this is gonna be really torture. I don't even know how long on this. I spent quite a bit of time on it though. I mean, I'm proud of it. I made it. It doesn't look good, but it's alright. So, I'm trying to use wood glue. Now, wood glue is super tacky, but it takes quite a bit to dry. So, yeah, that wasn't settling right for me because, you see, I tried wiping it in with another piece of wood, and that just made the entire thing really sticky, and it eventually just stuck to my table, and I had to jab my knife under and rip it off, and almost tearing apart the entire floor. So that didn't work out well at all. I got it on the table a little bit, but that was no problem. I just grabbed a paper towel and left it. But I had to wait a little bit. I was getting pretty impatient, so I just left and went ahead and got the hot glue gun like every other life hack channel, except I'm not a life hack channel. So, working on this floor a little bit more, just waiting and waiting and waiting. Not much really happened. I think I was just off in distance getting more wood on there because it did look a little bit rectangular and I kind of wanted it a little bit more square. So I ended up just making another piece, but my measurements were a little bit off. And then I finally got the hot glue gun, warmed up and everything. So, yeah, you can see how I was just trying, and you can see how wonky the line is on there. It's like it plateaus at the start, and then it goes down and then up. I don't even know what happened here. And then I put on the glue on top of the... I don't even know what I was doing here. You'll know that later on I had to actually take apart the... Yeah, you can see that. They all fell apart. The wood glue didn't hold. I didn't give it enough time to dry. Neither did the hot glue. It didn't have enough time. burned myself some part in this. I I touched the glue right when it was, or no, I think I touched the metal part while the glue was coming out, and it wasn't very nice. But yeah, you can see now that I got it stuck to the table. Dumbass, I know. I almost ended up breaking the entire floor there. Now I've got some glue on my table and just putting in some new glue in there because I ended up, it was only like maybe an eighth of a regular stick that I used for just those floor panels right there. But still, it was some glue nonetheless, so continue working on it just a little bit longer. I took so long on this floor. The walls actually took a lot less time to do than this. I think I spent, how many minutes did I spend on this floor here? I spent way too long on the flooring. And then the final product of the floor ended up looking like somebody just skinned themselves and left pieces of skin in there, and just strands of glue are everywhere too. It's not the most optimal look for whatever I'm building. At first I was trying to go for a modern house look, but then yeah, I don't really know what it looks like now. I mean, I can still probably convert it into a modern house looking thing, but right now you can't even see that it's going into a modern house. It just looks like wood. So yeah, it's kinda, it's not looking the best. My measurements are off. Next time I know I'm gonna use a ruler. I promise you I'll use a ruler next time. Because the thing right now is lopsided. Everything just isn't really I mean, it worked fine. It worked fine enough. This is my first day on it. This is the first time I'm even doing anything with wood. I mean, popsicle sticks, I guess. Making some miniature diorama type thing. And here I am, skipping a little bit ahead because it was painful to watch me put together the floor with it breaking apart multiple times. So right now I'm putting in posts to hold up the walls because the walls kept sort of collapsing in on themselves and falling down just a little bit, so these things would add a little bit more support to it. I didn't do a very good job at them. I ended up having to cut them down because they were really, really tall, and I'm glad that I cut them down to a reasonable size because that just wouldn't have sat with me. That's way too big right there. That's way too tall for the little base layer right there. So you can see I tried cutting them with pliers, and I actually had to cut that out because yeah, it the floor broke, the walls broke, everything just broke apart because I tried to clip them, and instead of just the top pieces flying off, it was the bottom pieces that flew up and kind of folded over. So everything just kind of slipped and fell, but I re-glued everything and it hasn't fallen apart since, so pretty happy with that. But now, putting on a little bit more walls, I decided to go for this kind of adding a window, or not a window, but I don't know what you would call it, like, I guess a window. I can maybe stick a piece of plastic in there or something to make it look like glass later. I probably wouldn't put that much effort into it. I don't know, maybe if I get a feel for it, but I decided, burp. Sorry. I decided to put in this thing right here, and it looks like windows. I think it looked alright. So then I had to make more of those pillars using poor measurement skills because, once again, no ruler. And I ended up putting it on, and it worked pretty good, actually. I was able to put it on its side, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do with the previous super gluing. Or hot gluing, whatever you call it. But right now, I mean, it looks like a rusty shack. Or not rusty, but it just looks like a saloon or not even a saloon. I think calling it a shack would put shacks to shame. And here's me putting on the roof. Just wait until I run into this little problem. You see this little peg over there? You see that little peg that's just a little bit taller than the roof? Yeah, I maybe spent 20 minutes trying to trim that thing down because I didn't have any sandpaper. I didn't have, yep, right here. Yep. I tried brainstorming so much, and I tried using my big boy brain to see what I could do around this. So I went ahead, I grabbed the razor, and I tried cutting out a little slit to where it would go through. Now you can see I'm trying to poke holes because this thing isn't, well, it's sharp as hell. It's really sharp, but it just doesn't go through the popsicle stick. So I did draw the line a little bigger, tried it again, and still nothing. I'm trying to like go on the other side, trace it over on the other side, pop it through maybe, and I end up trying to use scissors, which I knew I was probably going to like pop it out or something. So I decided to try and cut the pillar right here, and that worked a little bit. It brought it down, so it's a little bit more even with the roof. Like, I'm looking at it right now, it's a little bit more even with the roof. But because I got these little smaller sticks too, where I could try and put those in there as well. And what I ended up doing was grabbing the pliers and actually using them as scissors because they've got that sharper part to them. So after cutting that out a little bit, just going over it and seeing how it would fit, because I'd rather make it way too large than way too small. Well, you can't make it too small. So I just put it on like that, and it ended up working fine. So look at me, I'm a little problem solver. So I put that on, and that was the roof then, and my quote-unquote workstation is covered in hot glue. And here are a couple cinematics of the creation. So next episode on here, I'll probably end up going over it a little bit, maybe cleaning it off. But it worked out pretty good. Oh, it's something. I made it. I'm proud of it. I don't care. Next episode we'll probably end up going and cleaning it off just a little bit and maybe painting it, working on the second part of the building. We'll probably go work on the second part of the building and I'll just clean it off camera and then we'll paint it near the end. But I do want to add a little bit of furniture inside of it. I know that's weird, or it's not really weird, it's kind of cool. I want to add a little bit of furniture inside of it, so maybe I'll do that. Anyway, thank you all for watching this episode of An Idiot Tries to Build a House, I guess. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.